Hey everybody, I haven't talked to you guys in a really long time. I have been isolating and I have been feeling very, very alone, and I have not been doing very well mentally. And there's a lot of reasons as to why that is, but one of the biggest ones and the things that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is the feelings of loneliness and isolation in neurodivergent people. I, for so long, have, I guess, avoided and pushed down the fact that I am autistic and I do suffer and struggle a lot with um, CPTSD or PTSD because of the things that I've been through in my past. That whenever I try to actually do something that is, feeding to my soul and that is going to help me, succeed and help me to escape the situation that I'm in, I turn to coping mechanisms, whether it's smoking, whether it's binge eating, whether it's scrolling. And a lot of the times, whenever I try to actually sit down and just sit still, it's almost extremely, extremely difficult to do so. And all I want to do is just run away from it, because when I actually do feel it, the pain is a pain that a lot of people don't understand, the pain that I go through and the feelings, just the way that the feelings feel, because the feelings that I feel are not the same as the way other people feel feelings. And it's something that you can't understand unless you experienced it yourself. And it's something that I find very common within the neurodivergent community. And I've always found myself getting a lot more along with people from the neurodivergent community, specifically autistic and ADHD people. I still haven't gotten a proper diagnosis for this either way. No one really believes me when I say it, other than people who are experiencing autism themselves. And for me, because of that, I just basically just told myself that I don't know if I was just broken or there's something different that was wrong about me, or I was a problem, or I was a monster in some type of way as to why I acted the way that I do, or the way that I react or move around my life the way that I do. There were so many things and words that were used to explain what I was going through and why I was acting the way that I was acting, other than the fact that I was autistic, and I have been my whole life. I still struggle to, you know, tell myself that that is what has been going on, because for me, a lot of it comes from me just telling myself that I have superpowers, or I've been set apart and I have different things that make me do certain things that other people can't, that don't have these diagnoses or whatever the case may be. And obviously those two things can be true at the same time. But the fact that I have been neglecting and rejecting the latter part of claiming and understanding that that is what I am going through has made my experience here on earth, in society, and in isolation so much more difficult, rather than just understanding that that is a part of my life and that is what I have to go through. I believe that because of this, we are meant to go about life in a different way. But unfortunately, there isn't really a path that is paved out for people like me, especially if you are still undiagnosed and you still have no real, genuine, loving, unconditional loving community and support system that many others are blessed with. And I think one of the craziest things and the hardest things to realize is that, especially if you come from, you know, uh, first generation American or immigrant home or non-white homes, or if you're queer, being neurodivergent on top of that, it really makes me feel like, and I get treated a lot like as if I am scum, as if I am nothing. And again, the pain that I experience is not the same that pain like other people experience. So I've resorted to thinking that maybe if I just wasn't here, it would be a lot better. So when I left and I went through that experience on my own, I came to the realization that what I still crave and what I still require is having my own home and having that stability. And then it's the fact that a lot of people will tell you, a lot of spiritualists will tell you that, you know, these things aren't important or these things are material and you can't focus or emphasize the material. But the thing is that for some people, especially like me, that it's a part of my survival and it's crucial for my survival and for my well-being and for me to regulate and for me to take care of myself properly. And having other people not understand that and working against me in that systemic way, and even in a way where, you know, if you have relatives or if you have friends or family or guardians or whoever it is that don't understand you and don't cater to you in the way that you need to be catered to, it just causes so many arguments, so many fights, so many problems. And ever since I was a child, I always tried to make myself more manageable and shrink myself to make my life more palatable for others. This has turned into a bigger issue involving me sacrificing my well-being and my mental stability for others' comfort and for others' understanding. And that is extremely dangerous for someone who is neurodivergent. And because of the fact that I traveled and I went through those journeys and those experiences and I learned, I realized that I started masking a lot less. And when I came back to square one, have been so unmasked for a long time, it wasn't something that I can just turn off. And it's not something that I can just put it away, because once you unmask, you never really mask again. It's just more painful and more difficult to do so, where it becomes unbearable and you can't really hide it. And I don't really know how I'm going to maneuver life as a neurodivergent individual that isn't diagnosed and isn't properly protected under, disability, which is there much protection for those who are, registered under the ADA? Is there protections and, good treatment and resources and, justice served in these communities and in this process in general, And it just makes it really discouraging and difficult for me to see a life where I am being treated the way that in my head and to me feels the right way and the just way and the fair way to be treated and to be accommodated to, but not everybody else does that. And I think for a reason too, a lot of people just don't even see that within themselves. They don't treat themselves with that same sort of accommodation, so they can't really accommodate for others if they're not able to see it within themselves, or even if they never experienced or understand neurodivergence in general. So it kind of leads you back to square one of feeling extremely isolated and lonely. I don't have many people that I can really just call up and talk to and give me the platform and give me the space to just express and to talk and to feel and to let them know about all my worries, because I think Genuinely, it's a part of the fact that my worries and the things that I've been through are a lot more intense and a lot more, I guess, complex, that many people kind of avoid going through those things because of the fact that what you experience and what you feel going through those types of experiences are very difficult and not everybody can handle it. But yet again, there's things that people who are neurodivergent can handle, and there's things that people who are neurotypical cannot handle, and vice versa. The loneliness that I see so often online is something that I'm seeing too much of it, and I question why it's so common, because it doesn't feel like it should be common. But I see a lot of people online, specifically neurodivergent, queer, or housing insecure, or brown and black youth going through these same things. And it's very disheartening because to me, it's just like, why can't we all be friends? If we're all going through the same thing, why can't we just all be here for each other? And that brings me back to the point of not everybody knows how to handle being in community, and not everybody is able to actually understand what it takes to be a part of a community and to stay in a community and to be consistent, especially because of the way that we grew up, especially because of the way that we navigate our lives, the way that we live our lives, the way that we treat ourselves, the way that we put harmful and toxic things into our body and be around things and people and environments that are unhealthy and toxic to us, because it feels a lot easier to do that than to do the right thing for yourself and for your health and for your growth and for your life. And I guess that's where a lot of people like myself experience a lot of executive dysfunction, and you struggle with being able to move forward, because whenever you move forward, it feels like you're genuinely ripping your body apart. It feels like it's a reaction that is so visceral that I experience whenever I try to do something that is outside of the box than what I'm normally used to. And it's like, if you guys seen what I have, if you've been following me, you see that obviously I am someone who's not really afraid of doing really, I guess, daring things. But at the same time, the things that I need to do to actually secure the things that will provide me the best quality of life, for some reason, it's just so unsettling and so jarring for me to actually start the process, continue the process, and make it to the finish line with that process. Especially when you don't have a proper support system, especially when you don't have the security in your basic needs, especially when you go through trauma, and when you go through, you know, certain things that other people don't have to go through, or you see other people that have succeeded in the ways that you want to succeed, and their quality of life or their upbringing was completely different. And that's where it's so crucial to not compare yourself. But it's kind of hard to not compare yourself when all you want is just to have a better life for yourself, and it feels like no matter what you do, your body just wants to just run away from that feeling. And then there's people online telling you that you can't have this, or you can't do this, or this can't happen for you if you've experienced or if you're going through this. And then it causes people to go through a spiral, especially depending on the situation that they're in, that they can't really control that. And the only way to be able to have a better life, or have that visceral nervous system dysregulation and that feeling of unsafety, is to manifest and to bring in the things that you want. But if your body is fighting against you, then how does that work? And then the US system does not recognize this. In fact, they don't want you to. They do everything possible to dysregulate your nervous system and to make you feel fear, panic, worry, dependence on all of these things that are outside of us, because they don't want to give us the real tools to actually figure it out the way that we were naturally meant to. And it brings people into a spiral to the point where they burn out and they're left with wondering if they'll ever actually get out of this cycle, because it's a visceral cycle. And it all started in the home. It all started in school. It all started in communities. It all started in these programs. If you were placed in a program, even if you were, in for the classes, special ed, or if you were in, special programs for gifted kids, or if you were in programs for certain sports or certain activities. The only explanation for any of this is to change the system that America has been operating under, and for people to finally realize that the only way that we're going to get through this is to continue to advocate for ourselves and to speak up about the fact that America does not want the people that will genuinely save this world to win and to be mentally sane and to be stable financially, economically, socially, everything. They don't want us to do that or to be that, because if so, they will become powerless. They won't have the power, they won't have the ability, they won't have the hold over everybody else. So I leave you guys with that, to meditate and to think about that, and to hopefully that you saw yourself in this message in some way. Today I'm going to pour into myself and do something that makes me happy, even though I'm very hesitant and wanting to just scroll or to binge eat or to do any of the other stuff. But I don't want to do that because it doesn't make me feel good, and it's not helping me. Like, literally, it doesn't feel good. So I hope that you guys get to do something that fills your soul and fills your heart with happiness and love today. I love you so much, and I'm so happy that you're still here, and I really hope that you keep pushing on, because I know that it's not easy. I know that it's difficult. I know that what we go through is something that not a lot of people talk about, and it's not advocated for enough. But I really didn't want to make this video today, but I really needed to, because I felt it was important to talk about this on my heart and to talk about this to you guys, and because I know that something or somebody, at least myself, benefited from speaking up about this. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, rest of your week. I'm really hoping and blessing and praying for blessings, safety, security, financial abundance, the resources, the strength for us to be able to advocate for ourselves, to accomplish and receive those things, and to go after what really fills our soul and our needs. I hope that we all get this, and we all gather the strength and the energy and the power to continue to keep showing up for ourselves, because it is really important that we do so. For ourselves, for our younger selves, for the life that we still get to live when we get through this and when we push through this, because the only thing that's keeping me going is the fact that because my life is not normal and because I am not normal, I get to live a life that is not normal, and I have to believe that it is, and that it can happen like that. Because there is no other way that I would rather want to live my life. I will die before I ever have to live my life in a way that is not truly authentic to who I am as a person and what I was meant to do in this world. And I'm very serious about that. So do it for your radical freedom, do it for your radical life, do it for your radical joy, because you deserve it and you'll be supported in that. I love you again. Please take care of yourself in whatever capacity you can today. And I hope you have an amazing one. And I hope to talk to you guys next time. Alright, bye bye.